Welcome to Class Soulmate. We'll learn how to insert a side pocket in a flay gown or pleated gown. So here, this is what I'm going to do. I have a paper which I want to use as the pattern for the pocket. So I'm placing my hand on the paper and I'm going to trace the hand. Okay, I'm tracing my hand on the paper just the way it is. That's how you're going to trace it. Trace it in such a way that your hand will be free inside the pocket, right? So I'll measure the opening for the pocket and it should be around 6.5 or 7 inches. 6.5 or 7 inches. So I'm just trying to highlight it more. That is okay for me. I'm going to highlight it more, after which I'll cut it out. Right? So get your scissors and cut it out. At this point, I did not add any sewing allowance here. I'm going to add the sewing allowance on the fabric. Okay, so we're just cutting it out. And at this point, I just want to remind you that if you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos. Okay, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much. So I'm going to use this now to cut on the fabric that we're going to be using. So I'll add half inch on all the sides, then on the opening I'm going to add exactly the allowance I'm adding to my gown or to the skirts I'm making, about 1 inch. Okay, other places half inch. Right, so what this means is that even if it's a pleat or a flay, I'm going to tear the side open. The side of the dress is going to be open, right? So here I'm trimming it to be equal to the sewing allowance I have on the skirt. Now what I'm going to do, this is doubled, so I'm going to cut another double for each of the side pockets. Yes, for each of the side pockets. So this is where I'm going to be fixing the pocket. Now this is the side of the gown. I'm coming down 2 inches from the waistline. Okay, I've already sewn this before, so I'm trying to lose it to amount to 2 inches from the waistline below. Okay, so once I get to 2 inches from the waistline below, I'm going to align it right side to right side from the 2 inches where I want the pocket to be. 2 inches from the waistline, I'm going to align the pocket right side to right side. Now you need to mark where the upper part will be and where the lower part will be. Okay, you can see the way it is. You can identify the upper part and the lower part. The very round area is the lower part. The one that has a sharp edge is the upper part. So I'll sew it down right side to right side on the two of them separately before joining it to the sewing allowance. Okay, so make sure that they both align together because they have to be one pocket. They have to align together. Okay, so after joining it, you can see I've joined it separately. Now I'll put the two of them together. The reason I said the two must align at the same point, right? So now what I'll do is to start sewing from the gown, from my sewing allowance, and then move over to the pocket itself. I hope you can see this. Once I get to the pocket area, I'll move down half inch into the below the where I fixed the pocket, half inch below where I fixed the pocket, and then turn my needle to sew only on the two pockets, right? That is the two put together. Let me say it again. Once I sew on my sewing allowance, I will pass the point of the pocket by half an inch. So once I pass it by half an inch, right, you can see the yes, you can see the way I rotated the needle or the machine or whatever. So I'll pass it by half an inch and then start sewing only on the pocket right round. Don't worry about the light that is shining too much. Okay, I'll sew on the pocket right round and then return back to my seam line. I hope you're following this. I'll return into my seam line for the gown. So you need to carefully turn as you're sewing, rotate as you're sewing so that you maintain your sewing allowance. So I'll make sure I get into the seam allowance. I keep on saying sewing allowance, but so long as you understand what I'm saying, I'm okay. So I'll go back into the seam allowance, which is about 1 inch, and then continue my sewing, right? So we are done there, and we're going to continue sewing down to the end. I hope you understand something from this video. Please kindly give it a thumbs up if it's something you appreciate. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we're going to continue to give you more interesting videos. Okay, so after that, we want to see what the pocket is looking like. You can see the opening of the pocket. My hand is in there, right? Look at it. So beautiful. Nobody is even going to notice there is a pocket. Okay, so now that you fix the pocket, you can go ahead and turn your fabric with lining if you have lining to turn it, or whatever it is that you want to do. Close it and add your zipper. Thank you for watching. Bye.